Google wants 200, baby.
You ready to get back to the trading action?
You aim, you shoot, and make money. It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Trade the Pool live stream. Let me see. Fortunately, well, I'll assume my audio is going. I'm sure in the chat people can throw a note if that's not working. And let me figure out how to get, is this Mitch or Michael that's dancing with the money? Let's do that. That's always fun. Welcome, everyone. I will be not just on the show, but hosting the show this morning. Mitch is doing some things. And, okay, I can't quite make myself smaller. We'll go with that. So we have an exciting morning today because we have the GDP results coming in, or they came in this morning, and it was a little bit slower economic growth than was expected. So we'll be looking at that, and we'll be looking at the consequences for the market. Now, I thought I had this set up, so I'm just going to go back to here again. And sadly, I can't have the banner and myself on here at the same time. But welcome, everybody. It's going to be an exciting morning. So, hey, Imran, good morning. First into the chat here. And I'd also like to call out Pare in our Discord, who is showing me his watch list building process. Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch quite enough of that this morning, but he always shares. We have our sunrise report most mornings. You know, Mitch does the playbook, and in our Discord, Pare also will usually throw out his own picks for the day, and that's real helpful. There's always some good stuff in there. So what I'm going to do, without further ado, is actually double check that I have my screen sharing lined up. I'm also going to spam this stream to a couple places because I'm real excited to be here with you. Good morning, good morning. And we'll go from there. So I'm going to go through my watch list process, my own I usually start with the Biopharm Catalyst list, and that usually comes in around 9, the pre-market thing, and I go from there. So give me a second, and I'm just going to share this with a couple people. And so what's going on there? Now, I was also in NASDAQ and Russell futures last night, and I will say that the action there was pretty interesting. It's kind of funny because I'm looking at the chart now, and we're pretty much right where we left off on the Russell, at least. So that is pretty funny there. So let me just go ahead and make sure all of our Discord folks know how to get here. We don't miss anybody. All righty. So go ahead and throw in the chat what you are looking for in terms of the watch list. And, you know, if anybody would like to come on the stream as well, definitely feel free to share. So what I'm going to do, as I mentioned, let's see if I can start a PowerShell without crashing Windows Explorer, because that's how that goes. And I have actually on another machine. So I got my game console set up to dual boot, and I got part of the way there. I did not get all the way toward getting the joystick and everything to be the the full thing, but I do have some charts and stuff like that up. So we'll see how smoothly that goes. And in fact, that'll let me get some charts up sooner than later. So let's do this. There you go. Cool. Look at that. Look at that. Charts. That's exciting. Oh, I'm going to have to. That's the trick. Wow. We're lucky the market hasn't opened yet. That's why we get in here a little early. See where my startup thing is. I thought I had this, but here, I'll just do this. So what I usually have to do, I'm going to do a stream on this sometime. My wife is always bugging me to I should have two virtual screens. So a little bit of nerdery here. So my wife is always bugging me to share a little bit of my stream setup. And I think I will do that sometime just on my own channel, make some notes here. Let's see here if that's, yeah, look at that. I got a subtle little light going on. That's the way to do it. So I should be able now to have a full exciting, and yeah, Explorer's crashing. So basically what I do is I will create virtual screens, and then with StreamYard I have to project the stream output into another screen and share that screen. It's pretty fun. Mitch is out today. He told me where he is, but I cannot remember honestly where it is. So that's where it is. Yep. Thanks, Pari. Yeah, exactly. Pari's always here in the chat as well. So my list is quite long, so I picked the faves: Avgo, Marvell, MU, and LRCX. So it's all semis except for LRCX, right? My bias bullish. Oh, hold on. My bullish bias fails. I have to look for other names since all are tech related. So yeah, let's see what that guy is. And actually, let me go ahead and get this guy up as well. So we have this, and we'll just get in there. So I've been playing with this lately. We always talk about different things here, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to make another. So this is Martin Shkreli's Godel terminal. I've been playing around with that, but we always talk about, using different tools in combination. And actually, go ahead and that can be something fun we can talk about this morning. Oh, yeah, Lamb Research. So that can be something we can talk about as well today. Your tools. So, yeah, semiconductor fabrication. Okay, good. I remember this was coming up yesterday. I was watching Jay Arlington's thing. I think I remember him talking about Lamb quite a bit. But anyway, could you show how do you scan small cap stocks on the TTP Windows application? So yeah, that actually ties in. And bear with me here while I'm doing 4 things. I am not quite as smooth at that as Mr. Mitch is, but I will do my best. So one of the things, bear with me here. I'm going to just pop up one more. Always on top. And there we go. So first things first is then I can have the screen sharing going, and then we'll go from there. So yeah, we have some scanning on the TTP Windows application, but honestly, for scanning, a lot of us will use, additional software that we then do there. So let's see if that works. ARM. Yeah, I love ARM. Original ARM. Let's see. So yeah, if you call it tickers, what I'll do is I'll put these into watch list here. And we'll see that. So just going to clear that out. And I'm actually going to make this a little bit bigger. And I think I've shown on this stream before my normal process on make this family friendly. My normal process using TradingView, but I'll do the same thing here. So there we go. My goodness. Well, I may switch back to that because we've got there we go. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up my newsletter that I like to go through. What's the other software that you use? So this is the Godel terminal. This is from Martin Shkreli's thing. So GODEL terminal. I think I have a invite link somewhere that gives some amount of discount. So if you hit me up in the Discord, I might have that. I don't have that handy right now, but we have that. This is actually from Trader Evolution. Not Trader Evolution. Trader Evolution is the trade the pool software. This is Trader Workstation. It's from Interactive Brokers. And this is just the chart popped up there. And then like myself, I'll use TradingView. A lot of people use Thinkorswim. I like to use the Moo thing for an overview chart, but I don't have that running right now because unfortunately it gobbles up CPU right at the open. So yeah. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and pull that up and start going through the list and see what we have. So yeah, normally my morning routine, working a little bit late, my normal morning routine is like the 3-4 a.m. start with the European Open and go from there. But this morning I was actually up that late despite my best efforts. So we're kicking here, but yeah, that's what the pre-market is great for us to take a look there. So we'll talk about the news. So the GDP, actually, let's also talk about that. The GDP came in. Let's see if I have this. Don't have this on the right. So bear with me a second because I've got it set up on here as well. And see over here what this was. So this is one I use. So speaking of scanners, I know, for example, Valerie uses Trading Terminal. That's another one. It gets used a lot. Okay. Oh, so this is interesting. ECB did cut. The Federal Reserve did not cut, right? We held steady. ECB cut by 25 bips. So that is good to know. And yeah, here we go. We've got the main thing. So the U.S. economy grows by 2.3%. I was looking at that a little bit different, but okay. Yeah, hold on. Let me pull this up because I thought I saw a different number. It might have been from Forex Factory. My window's a little smaller here. Just going to pull that over here. So there are different sites you can use for news and economic calendars. My FX book, actually, the mobile app is not bad. This morning, for some reason, when I pulled open the GDP thing, It's actually where I got held up trying to dig into it. It kept trying to download a text file or something, but my FX book is good on Android at least. In terms of web stuff, right? We've got Forex Factory. That's pretty commonly known, pretty commonly used. And let's remind ourselves what they had to say, right? So you can filter. This is a good time to talk about that. You can filter by the impact and by currencies, right? So here I'm just looking at USD, and I've actually got all the impact levels. But that's kind of the how much of a difference that kind of news report typically makes. Now, let's look at advanced GDP. So this is not, so the reason I titled this GDP sneak peek is, and here we can read a description. So this is a great way to dig into how you can get into this. Oh, what happened to our banner? We need a banner. I guess that's why there was no banner when I was doing it earlier, is we didn't have, let's see. Yeah. Bring your A game and we've got the rest covered. That's a good banner. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. These are the bottom. These are all tickers on the bottom. Interesting. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I never deal with StreamYard in current life, so there we go. Look at that. All right. So one thing that is useful and educational is if you look on these, most of these different economic calendars that you can look at will have on there a little description of what the figure actually means. So here you click on that little folder, and they'll actually give you the previous figures so you can compare them, and they will have a description. So here they say this is quarter over quarter data. It's reported in an annualized format, right? So that's really important to know. So they basically say this, if it grew 1% in the quarter, right? Which would actually be a banner quarter, I guess, because when you annualize that, that is 4%. Annualized just means to, multiply or divide, so it's on a 1 year basis. I remember that being a big meme in the Predict It community. People would always joke about the return on basically buying resolved but not settled contracts so that they could get that extra penny, and someone's like, well, the profit if on an annualized basis is, some gajillion percent thing. Anyway, so they actually release the GDP is once a quarter, right? But they'll release it in once a month, right? So there's 3 months in a quarter. Every month they'll release a newer version, right? So they'll release the advanced GDP, and then they'll release preliminary, and then they'll release final. And then the next quarter, by the end of one quarter, they'll be reporting the final results of the previous quarter. So, and so it'll say here, right, the advance release is the earliest and tends to have the most impact. So if we look here, right, this was 2.3%. The forecast was 2.7%. And this is, I'm going to actually have to dig into this because, okay. Yeah, see, so it came out originally at 2.8. The last advanced GDP was 2.8%, right? And then it got revised to 3.1%. So that's what we're comparing it against from the last time. And I guess, okay, yeah, I guess the previous one is green because relative to its previous, it was green. I'll have to look a little more. I'm not quite sure on the coloration of the previous thing, but I think that's what it is. If anybody knows that, feel free to chime in. Let me go ahead and bring up the comments here so we have that. How do you place limit orders at bid and ask using hotkeys? Yeah, so for keys, I'll usually use the scalper, but I will use the hot buttons usually on the chart. And let me see if I can go ahead and start. Let's see. Actually, don't have that running this morning because oftentimes I'm got some pretty heavy drawdown in that trade the pool account, and so depending on my attention, it's sometimes not great to be trying to trade and be live. So I've seen about setting up another account today, but I didn't quite get that far. So I'm going to go ahead and start that in the background. We can do that. FDX, looking at short. All right, cool. So I'm just going to put that into, I wonder if I can have two quote monitors here in this video terminal. Oh, I can. Cool. So over here, I will put, there we go. FDX. Yeah, did they have earnings? Did UPS have earnings? I remember that we had, yeah. In short, my bias could be all, yeah. Parra, I'm guessing you're saying I'm short? I don't know. My bias could be all semis that dip due to DeepSeek is filling that gap. Yeah, so let's see here. Let's actually look at semiconductors as a sector. Oops. And yeah, so you mean filling the gap there to the upside here, or you mean further down? Let me see if I can zoom out more. No, I can't, but I can go. Or do we mean back down to here? I don't know. I don't see on this chart. I don't see a gap, but like, yeah, I mean, we've got room down to, was it 178 on SOX, which should be. Let's see if they split adjust this. Oh, that's funny. Somebody was complaining about that. It does do that. ASM. If you type in NVDA too quickly, it'll jump to ASML. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, now we're struggling to reclaim this lower trend line. This thing doesn't have drawing, so that's fine. But we do have some gaps down here. We've got a little tiny one here, a little baby gap, bigger one, and then another one down here, right? So we could, you know, I mean, if we go all the way back sub 100, that would be insane, let alone like 86. I mean, conceivably, right? Undercut this thing. Wow. Yeah, upside. Okay. I mean, I don't know. I could go both ways. Let's look on my boy ARM. I haven't actually traded ARM in a little while, but yeah, that came in for me here. Yeah, this one would be nice because I have been looking for an opportunity to get long-term ARM investment going again. So we'll see what happens there. Anyway, all right. So yeah, I've got the trade the pool in the background. We'll dig into that in a minute. So yeah, so the GDP came in a little bit cooler, and we also had initial jobless claims, right? We have that every Thursday morning, 8:30. So let's see what we have here. Come on. Oh, exit detail view. All right, we'll do it that way. So we also had unemployment claims. And the other thing is you'll see these called different things from time to time. Sometimes these will bring in from different sources. So sometimes they'll say explicitly, oh, this is from, like for crude, they'll say this is from EIA or this is from whatever. For the unemployment things, you might say it might be labeled like BLS, right? And depending on the economic calendar you're using. So for example, I'll go here and I'll just go to here it's economic data. Oops, I'll click over here. as I said, I don't have nearly enough screens. So here you'll see it's actually called initial jobless claims, and some of these other things are labeled. And so they've got, we've got the GDP price index. GDP annualized. That's interesting. This is 2.3 versus 2. Revised from 2.8. Okay. Not sure what they're showing for the previous one. Anyway, but yeah, you'll see these lists and see they'll have different. There's a little tool tip here. Describes that there. Anyway, go back there. So unemployment claims. We had this. So this was people applying for unemployment for the first time. We had 207K. The forecast was 224. So they're projecting 1,000 more than the previous week, which was 223. It actually came in at 207. Okay. Now keep in mind, this is not the number of people who are unemployed, because it's initial jobless claims, and this is also the unemployment numbers in general. Right, like eventually you run out of people to fire, right? So everyone could be out of work, and you could be seeing less and less initial jobless claims. And there's other things to be aware of with those numbers. So that's just something to keep in mind there. And I'm going to go ahead and I'll just put those tickers in because why not? Marvel. Oh yeah, I popped those in already. Yeah, cool. ARM. Check that. All right, so what I'm going to do, it's now. Oh, now. We lost a drink there. It's now very close to the open. So let's see. So here's a name that I haven't seen in a little while. This is an Australian name, KZIA Therapeutics Limited, because they're Australian. Regulatory approval on the launch of a trial combining paxilosib and immunotherapy in advanced breast cancer. Cool. And you know what? I'm going to zoom this in a little bit more. For folks watching on the stream. There we go. All right. And actually what I'm going to do is, the way I do this is, so they send me two things in that newsletter, right? They send me the advancers and decliners in the pre-market, and then they send me like things that had actual news catalysts. So I like to just drop these in first. And no surprise if you've ever watched any of Shkreli's streams, my goodness. This is optimized for just typing in a bunch of stuff really quickly, because he just will do that to go through. It's kind of his little routine. And I would encourage, so we watch those streams on our Discord. We've been going through his finance education series, which now is mainly, the first one had more lessons. Now it's mainly historical, just live streams. And it's interesting to compare some of the previous analyses with the current state of those companies, if they exist. But one thing he'll do is just go through and blast, like he'll just go through the filings and just type in like the balance sheets, all the stuff. I don't know if he does that now because he's got, this software that kind of lays it out the way he likes to do it. But Helene Messler, she will chart on paper. I think I mentioned that yesterday. Shattuck Labs is back up. And so all those things are basically just number one, you get in your routine, right? Like you can probably see, start out, I'm like, all right, where's everything, right? A little more on a roll now, right? You go through your routine, you start like, okay, I'm doing this. Your brain gets in gear, and you get those habits, those practices for the day. That can be really helpful, and helps the brain get going. And that also helps. It's akin to a checklist where you always do the same things. It helps you miss less, and it can also just be like, it's a way to kind of relax a little bit. You're just hanging out doing your thing, but you're also getting a little more done in the day. So kind of threefold. So what I've done here is these are all the things that have pre-market advanced declines. So I'll just sort this by the change percent, and wow. So CRGX is down 77%, and meanwhile, TechX is up 107%. So that's pretty exciting. And now what I'm going to do is just go over here to this list, and these are the things with news catalysts. And here I'll start. Pay a little more attention. And usually it's easiest for me to type it in, but I'll do this. So Kazuya, breast cancer, EVAX, offering, alterity, positive results, MSA. Anyone know what MSA stands for? This is a brain thing. We'll be back. Okay, CRGX, they just continue to study, so that explains that. Butterfly, an offering. IMNM, Immunome, an offering. IKT, discontinuing development of a drug. Tectonic therapeutic, cool. Medical earthquakes. Pulmonary hypertension, meeting all goals, supporting further development. All right, cool. So these are the news catalysts that they have listed. Already, obviously, there's more, but this is a newsletter that I like to pay attention to. Number one, because it costs me a pretty penny, and number two, because then that's an area that I have some experience in, right? Like, so I have a tiny bit of medical education, and I have a decent bit of experience in medical devices, in terms of, I wasn't doing I wasn't in charge of the approvals, but I did go through that process with a couple of medical device startups. So I'm sort of familiar with FDA approvals, right? So that gives me a little hook. It's a little something where I can maybe make a tiny bit more sense of the news than I could in another sector. And, it just gives me something to dig in, and then I can go and read and learn about things more and go from there. So I just really encourage everybody, again, even if you're just going by the scanner, I do suggest if you have some expertise, interest, anything like that, outside of trading, take advantage of that in the markets. If nothing else, just keep an eye on that sector, right? Keep your skill sharp. Look for synergies, right? That's where you always get a better return, is when you can tie those things together. So just my thought there for the day. So we are past the open. Okay. So let's go ahead and see what we have here. So we've got a little chop here. I'm going to go down to a few smaller candles here, 10-second candles. So it's gone. So it's 9:34. So yeah, here we go. So these are the futures chart. So this is in Central Time. So yeah, here's 8:30, came down. We go up, down again, and now we'll see what actually happens. So we've got selling. Now this already, actually, I don't know what formation this is. I'll have to see what happens. But I'll just keep an eye on that background there. So let's see what we can see on some of these guys. This is interesting. How did this jump down? Usually they have a news halt, because so that's a daily chart. Let's see what happens if I go to an hourly. There we go. Must have had the news come out. So CRGX announced discontinuation of FIRCE1 phase 2 clinical trials of Theracell in OBCL patients following CD19 CAR T cell therapy. Okay. Company will reduce its workforce by approximately 50%. Oh my. Sorry to say that. All righty. So let's go now and check in on a couple sectors. So I like to look at retail a lot, right? So now we're getting a little bit of a push up. So man, I played this wrong. So Target, right? I've commented before, they will often end up right at 141.41. I don't know why that price is just such a magnet for this stock, but it is. And so, for around here, I'd gotten long for there. That would have been really nice, but I went the other way. So, yeah, I mean, so keep in mind, like, you might ordinarily think this will do the gap fill, this will come up here, reclaim or whatever. This level here, for whatever reason, I would not be surprised to see significant resistance at this level now that it's gotten up here. And in fact, we saw it overshoot a little bit. Now it's pulling back. So we'll see what happens there. Dollar stores also, right? We've got, and that looks like a clearer bear flag to me. Not anymore on ARM either. Yeah, I have to look for markets. Seems heavy. ARM is holding. Not anymore on ARM either. Yeah, people talked about it. People were encouraging me to get back into ARM, and I just don't know just yet. I think, I mean, there's a lot of enthusiasm market right now, right? But we've got to. Do we have any other potentially bearish catalysts coming up? Because I think that's the thing. I think we needed to get right. We needed to have the FOMC, and we needed to have, we had a few times where we were waiting for jobless claims. What else do we have? It could be a potential bearish catalyst. Well, let's go ahead and look at the economic calendar. So here we can actually go, and what we'll do is we'll filter. We'll say, show me only the most important. And then we can look, right? So nothing for a little while, right? We've pretty much gotten past the boost. We've got core PCE coming in tomorrow. So that could be the one other thing. That could start telling us, let's see if this is preliminary. So core PCE, right? It's the Federal Reserve's primary inflation measure. And so this could give us insight, like, will they resume the cuts or, not? So let's take a quick look here. Oh my, what happened to my NC window? Go, yeah, let's look at that. Yeah, so we're still. I mean, that was the test to the downside. I think what we're going to see a lot of here, and this is what I've been seeing, is just tests in one direction or the other, and then we sort of drift in the opposite direction once it holds. So, for example, here, right, this is like, honestly, this little formation here to me looks kind of bearish right now. It looks like, again, it's struggling to hold this uptrend, but also it didn't lose this here, right? So now the question is, does it hold here? And if it tries again, if it doesn't drop, right, I think we might drift up. I don't see it as a big sudden amplitude kind of day, but I could be wrong. All right. So one question, I don't want to forget this, so give me a quick second. There we go. All right. See if I've got a different layout here. Do I like? I can do this. I can say, there we go. I can be up in the corner, but it's actually better to do this because I'm going to be, let me see here. Let me see if I can shift this over to the left here. Or if I can drag it down. I'm just trying to see if I can put this on the, all right, I'll sit over here. That's what I'll do. It's interesting. Well, let me flip it horizontal before. It's not going to. I'm not going to spend time here. All right, Barry says take an Avgo if 219 breaks. Okay. Good luck, my friend. Yeah, I see here. This could form. That's rough. That could be forming. Could actually be forming a bearish Gartley type thing, right? So we'd see it shoot up to potentially like a 161 of this size here. So it could get up here. Excuse me. Could get up to like 2. Yeah, 222 or higher, and then go back to the downside. So that's the thing. You'll often see that formation where you have a bottom, comes up to a sort of neckline in here, comes down, forms a higher low, and then comes up again. And you're actually looking for some kind of specific ratios. So on the Discord later, we'll see what we can get into today, but on the Discord later, I will be doing our TA practice, right? So we can take a little bit more look at those. So anyway, let's see what we have here. So what I do here for these quick kind of entries and exits is I will do one of two ways, right? So I'll use the mouse trader, and I might also use these hot buttons here in conjunction with the sizes. And Mitch was mentioning this on the show, I believe yesterday, right? Talking about these presets, right? Same thing here. So I'll have these set 10, 20, 30, 50, 100, 150, 200, 300, 450, 600, right? And so I can just quickly go here, pick the appropriate size, and then I can say buy at the ask, right? That'll pretty much instantly get me in. If it doesn't instantly get me in, it's because it just like shot up. And so then I can just drag the order on the chart a little bit higher until I get a fill on a buy. But that'll keep me from like, if it suddenly wicks up and I had done a market buy, like it can't help if it does that move before my finger finishes clicking, but it will help if there's any change between the order transmission and receipt and execution, right? So that's one thing. But what I'll generally do actually is I would buy at the bid, and then I would drag the stop loss to make sure that my sizing is kind of like what I'm thinking of, like in terms of what I'm risking. So the way I have this set up, there's two pieces to this, right? One is I go in the main settings and I put, that's really frustrating me that I'm facing the wrong way. Whatever. I'm okay. So I go into the general settings, right? And I go into the trading defaults. And if I go down here to the types manager, then I can set my defaults. Now here, right now, we only have one type of asset class, right? Which is equities, stocks. So I go here and I do a couple things, right? So first I put my user quantity coefficient, and that picks what is that value going to be by default. And the price increment arrow, that says what happens if I click this little arrow. I never do that, but that says whether it'll move it up and down by 1 or whatever size you want. I can also put numbers for the stop loss and take profit in ticks, right? This is important. And the reason is that's always going to be an offset. And there's a question about that the other day. I did talk the person through it, but it generates some confusion, so I'll go through again. Anyway, let's see. All right. In Avgo, good luck, Pare. Let's see here. Yeah, even if it is that that bearish Gartley forming, you got to get up to like 222, 3, 4 before it would shoot back down to the downside, like most likely here. And right, you could draw this here. You could even imagine like boom to here. Here's the 78 fib, right? It's really trying hard to push up at this 78 fib, and then as long as it just holds here, I hope that didn't wick you out, brother. Then you know what? Yeah, and in fact, it was holding right around here, right? But generally, if it makes it up to the 78 fib and it can push up, right, then that means you're usually going to sail through 1.0 and then up to like 161 and so on. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. If you are interested in talking about Gartley stuff, come on the Discord on lunch. I think I put 12:45. Let me double check what I put for that. And also, lest I forget, this afternoon at 4:30, Captain Stonkso, yeah, buddy of ours, he's helped us out with some stuff on the Discord in the past, and he's been a funded trader for a while. He will be doing an interview, or he'll be doing our Funded Trader Focus series. So we will be, I was hosting that in the past. Annette is hosting now. And basically that's going to be where we'll sit down with the trader, talk about their journey getting funded. And you'll see this often from Trade the Pool. There's a lot of success stories, right? We have those in the successes channel. We link them in Discord, but it's on the YouTube, it's on Twitter, and it's in the email newsletters. But where this differs from the interviews with usually Michael is that we open it up to the audience, right? So it's an interactive discussion with everyone there. And it's really a lot of fun, and it's usually super informative. So I encourage everybody at 4:30 this afternoon for the market close, get yourself a snack and, sit down, have a little beverage, just take a quick break, go outside, stretch your legs, look at something far. You don't want to be sitting staring just at the screen all day. And then come on 4:30, bring your questions for Captain Stonkso. So, but today at 12:45 is our TA practice session. Usually that's Thursday mornings, but obviously I am here, so that'll be when that is. So we can look at Gartley's and anything else TA wise that we want to get into. Let's see if we got. So back to this. What I will do in ARM. All right, awesome. I don't know. That one I'm a big, what size chart? Okay, that's an hourly. I love ARM. I don't know that I trust that ARM chart. It's one of those where I would want to be in it, right? If it reclaims, because I do like ARM. I've been bullish ARM. I'm bullish ARM long-term because again, they have the instruction set for everything that isn't Intel, x86 or its descendants, right? Which is further and further, and now it's basically the AMD instruction set because they, took the crown from Itanium as the successor. But yeah, pretty much everything is ARM nowadays. All the new stuff. All the NVIDIA stuff is ARM. The Apple stuff is ARM. Mobile chipsets, ARM, right? So they really have kind of a captive audience, and they can, as long as they don't get too greedy, they can kind of ask whatever they want. Yeah, now apparently SoftBank, I heard this rumor, SoftBank is looking to take out some loans using their ARM shares as collateral. So, oh shoot, sharing the wrong screen again. So yeah, I don't know. I like this. I mean, sure, here, right, we had this little gap up and then it came down, retested, I guess. To me, it's like if you go from here, it's still testing. It could still reject. This is one that I'd want to be in on the long term. This is one that if it's gonna pop today, right? Like, but the thing is, it could fluctuate a lot within here. It could come down and retest. So on the shorter term, I don't know what I would do with this, honestly. I know what I would do with options, and this is where we need to have another discussion session also on the Discord. But TTP for derivatives traders. My experience with equities has been more successful with options, and translating that to the underlying sometimes is a little bit trickier. But I think what I'd probably do is just go in with smaller size, right? Everything comes down in the end to size, right? If you and you don't have to take a position. So this is one where I might kick myself later, but maybe I don't have to trade it, And the other thing is, you can always go in small, and if you just do a small size and it just rips and you don't get any more, well, hey, you got a profit for easy, right? There's always more opportunities out there, so don't kick yourself too much if you miss something. And better to get something that you wished was bigger than to have gone too big and then just be spending so much time trying to get that back. So going back real quick to Trader Evolution. What we can do, so we've got that set up our sizes, right? And then this is on the chart settings. If I go here, settings, I've got stop to break even, arm to break even. Nice, yeah, good job. So if I go to chart order entry, I can choose which of these buttons I want to show. So you can actually have market buy and sell if you want. You have, buy, bid, buy, ask, and so on. And then you can also have close, reverse, and all these. I don't use these too much, but I show all those. So then, yeah, it just becomes click, click. And you've got these buttons on here for closing a position. The only thing is that that and the close and reverse buttons up here are all market orders. So those obviously will not work outside of regular trading hours, but they do work during that. So yeah, that's pretty much how I do that. And for reference, one thing I'll also do is say that I had a long position here, right? What I would then do is I would use, and you can hold down the control key as a shortcut to bring up this mouse trader, right? So I would actually just go here. I'd put partial, take profit, and stop losses, right? So say I had a 30 share position, right? I might do, oh, you know what? I did this wrong. So this is really important. So I would do, click in here, I'd go to OCO, and then I would say sell limit, sell stop, sell limit, sell stop. And now if this fills, this gets canceled. If this fills, this gets canceled, and so on. And then I would just have my position stop to mop up. I'd pull that down here, or I could just put a thing here. But having the position stop will mean that it'll show up in the totals. Don't want to go back for taking out partials. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what you mean there, but yeah. So by doing this, you don't risk having orders floating around there, and this lets you show your thing. So one thing I like to do, I think I've done a video on it, but is I'll do this, and then I would also put in trailing stop losses. So this would be 56. Yeah. So 100 ticks. So I'd put a trailing stop there as well. So I might do this if I had a large position. I might have brackets accounting for a third of my position. I might have trailing stops accounting for a third of my position. And then I might have a position stop loss below everything. And that gives a real nice combination of ways to get out, to scale out of my position. If it goes in my favor or if it goes against me. Oh, nice call on the arm there. Look at that. All right, so that's that. Oh, and the other thing is if you set these defaults, right, it will fill in that field, but to make it be active, you need to click that, and you'll see it highlighted in blue, and that means on your next order, it will have a stop loss or a take profit attached to it. And also this here is whether it'll be trailing or not. And so that's just how many ticks. In this case, it's all 1 cent ticks. And so that would just be, how many cents away in share price that it is, basically. So that's how to do that. Let me know if that answered your question. Watch it grow. I know you're asking about hotkeys specifically. We do have some videos on doing that with the scalper, for example. That's a lot more involved, though. So that's pretty much how I do that. So, yeah. So what are you calling out trading there? Let's see. Munirazi, yeah, let's trade. What are you trading? What are you looking at today? What sector? Ooh, there we go. Excuse me. So, that's okay. Dollar Tree. Still pushing, still pushing. And Target, where's Target? I already have Dollar Tree up here, so I don't need that. Yeah, see? Look at this. You've got Dollar Tree pushing up a little bit. Meanwhile, Target less enthusiastic because it's still we're basically pinned to that 140, 141. I'm telling you, it's going to be there for a while. All right. Avgo takes big reversals from his. Yeah, you know what? Another one that I always say, this is a big mega cap pharma that trades like a penny stock. And if you look at the relative movements on these, it's actually pretty big moves, right? Because we went from, what is this, 280 to 285. It's not a nothing move. So if you it's easy to get caught up. Man, this is interesting. What? Okay, so this was the pre-market here, but like we're still, in general, on some stuff, we're still just kind of chopping around. Yeah, you're not kidding there. Avgo just. Woo. All right. So let me now go ahead and call out if you're if any of you are in other things. Dollar Tree, by the way, I am bullish on for a couple of reasons. I think they're poised pretty well. I see Dollar Tree doing well because they've really come in and tested their lows here. And look, we've got kind of a little double bottom type thing. Now it could be forming a sort of ugly top here, right? But it might be time to pull up Trading View. But could still reject, but to me this looks good. Let's just say that. So I'm going to go ahead and we're at, all right. Wow, we're already at 10 o'clock. Cool. We'll see how long we end up going today. It might go to 10:30, might go to 11. So, okay, CVS is down. Obviously, that's so CVS is down. Walgreens is up. That's interesting. Quarterly report. Okay. Oh, Cardinal Health. That's something else. Yeah, it looks like Avgo's holding though. So anyway, all right. So let's see these advancers, decliners. Let's see what's shaking out. Still kind of Okay, so something's moved around a little. Let's look at this TechX, right? What was the story with TechX? Interim phase 1B data for TX45 in group 2 pulmonary hypertension with HFpEF. All right. So here is where cool thing is if you have, and again, you can do this for whatever sector you happen to be in. You can also do this with things like stock twits, or even Twitter, even X. You can search for the ticker you're interested in. Sometimes you can get some information that way. But let's go ahead. Let me log back in and let me close all the. Where's my mouse? There we go. Are you a subscriber? Stop spamming me. I really need to explore alternatives to BPC though, because it's not cheap, and they like it forgets I'm logged in, and I have to log back in. So bear with me a second. And I think I am just gonna start up TradingView. So I do have some workflows that I'm just used to that. Oh, I am going to switch over to the other side now that I have. All right. And look at how horrible it is. It's got this chat bot that I can't disable. And nothing infuriates me more than a chat bot, especially one that forgets that I told it to go away forever. All right, so here we are. We're looking at Tectonic Therapeutic. And so then you can get some of these analysis here. But now what we have is, let's find out what these things stand for. They've got in there. And this is in regard to pulmonary hypertension with HFpE ejection fraction. It's got to be with this. Yep, here we go. Heart failure with preserved ejection fraction. Okay. So it's an RXFP1 agonist. And interesting. Okay, so they had phase 1A, September 24th, 2024. And then phase 1B just came out, supporting further development into phase 2. And let's see, September. Yep, here we go. So they had their initial phase 1 results up. And then, wow, they had quite the sell-off. And wow. Okay, that's actually super. Look at this, man. What happened here? Let's find out. See if the news headlines have, because was this just de-risking it? What was this? Look at this. Man, if you bought this dip, look at this, $25 to $50, doubled overnight. And all it did is go back to its, I mean, that's true, but I mean, and this is why farm is crazy. Like, you look at the relative amount of drop compared to, here, let me go to a log chart of oh, it actually wicked all the way down. This is insanity. $15. Yeah, I mean, maybe it was just a combo of market sell-off, and people de-risking into the event. I don't know if this was on the calendar that they were going to announce the results, but like, that's hilarious because it's back where it was. Imagine all the people who were highly levered on this who got just destroyed, right? Like, imagine they're throwing in collateral for margin, get liquidated right at the bottom of this wick, and then it's back where it started. Oh man. And that's why it can be good to do it on Trade the Pool, because you are not putting all your personal capital at risk. Let's see, to present December 3rd KOL event. Yeah, positive data. All right. So now let's learn a little bit about this. And it popped in the other window, so bear with me. Oh yeah, this was an interesting thing that happened. Brazil. What was it that Brazil did last night? It was crazy. Um, Levi Strauss had earnings. And yeah, we'll pull up the earnings. We'll see what else reported today and how that is turning out. Let's see here. Oh, you know what? That is just going to bring up tickers. I'm going to have to go to what world? I don't think I can search news headlines. I'll have to do it elsewhere. I saved it. I remember that. Give me a second. I'm on another Discord. I don't know if people are talking about it. Shoot. Okay. Let me see if it was in here. Maybe I just saved the headline to share later. I do that sometimes. A little Telegram group I chat with people on, but I also just throw in all my headlines that I plan to share later because you never know if some of them are real or I don't want to comment to the group and have a half-baked analysis, you know. Let me see if I no. Well, that's upsetting. I lost it. All right. Well, you know what we'll do? We'll look on good old Twitter. Yeah, Brazil had big news. So EWZ is the like Brazil ETF. And interestingly, we didn't have a huge. I mean, it's just continuing the trend. Let's see what it was that happened here. Not a big background music guy, but I think I'm going to put our background music on. Well, that's a pretty rock. Save that for later. I'll tweet that later. What was the news? It was nothing news. Something with their currency or something. Let's see. Did anyone see what the Brazil news was? This is killing me because I can't. I can't find it. I'll have to look later, but it's killing me because Brazilian president stated if the Trump administration imposes tariffs, Brazil would retaliate with counter tariffs. Yeah, that's not it. That's just Apparently, Brazil is producer of the biggest beef producer in the world. Man, it's gonna kill me. Did anyone see that headline? Anyone know what Brazil was doing? Crazy. All right. Yeah, nothing new over here. Maybe Qs are testing 50 in there. All right. Yeah, maybe. All right. Where's my? Let's look at the review situation. Also, I'll pull this up. So this is interesting. Look at this. So this is a 12-minute chart. Look at this on NASDAQ versus Russell. We've just got selling going on. I'll go down to a 6-minute. Look at this. Russell just still going strong. NASDAQ trying to recover. Not so much. Oil pushing up. Gold pushing up. Fascinating. It's gonna kill me. I can't find that headline. 50 estimate, yeah. So if I go, let me go out to like an hourly chart. Look at this. So we came up over this. I think this was the move. The other day, but like we came up here. This is Wednesday's move. Yeah, so this was the FOMC move. So we came up, overshot the 161 a little bit. A 161 rejection can be significant. That's also, it came up to this previous high and sold. But man, this is fascinating. Gold pushing, Russell pushing, NASDAQ dropping. What does that tell us? I mean, we also had a lot of tech earnings come in, right? Yeah, hard to hold trades in this market move. Yeah, the thing is, like, individual names, right? And that's where for example, you could, so say you wanted to short one of these tech names. Say you wanted to go long, right? You could, if you wanted to go long arm and you were a little concerned, right? You could short Soxel, for example. That would hedge you a little bit. Or you could short the Qs, right? So Microsoft is still down. I don't know. I think we pushed back up a little bit on NASDAQ, and then let's see. I might try buying one NASDAQ. One NASDAQ, please. Looks like Microsoft is still selling too. That's crazy. It's trying to recall. That looks like a bear flag to me. What do we have? It's 10:15. Did we have any market data at all come in? Like, quote unquote significant or not? We're also going into the London close, so I mean, maybe, but so now what we can do is we can go on the filter. And we'll just look at everything. Pending home sales are down. by almost 6%. That's interesting, actually. Okay. 7.4%, 2.2%, 2.2%, negative 5.5%. Wow. And interesting, they were forecasting flat. So this is the change in the number of homes. Okay, so this is released about a week later, and existing home sales more forward-looking. Huh. That could be it. The home sales. And that's what they were talking about on, was it Bloomberg Radio or something? They were talking about a bifurcated market, right? Like the luxury housing being good. I mean, where I am too, like I bartend Monday nights, and that's good because it gives me it's in a grocery store too. It's like a beer tasting bar, a beer and wine. But I get kind of all kinds of people to come in, different people, different jobs, and so I get to have my ear to the ground with all kinds of sectors and industries and stuff. And yeah, there's people who work in construction materials, and then people who work in renovations, like residential, commercial. There's people who sell doors, like steel doors, the big steel doors you can roll up and down. So every time I've talked to those, I was out sick. I was sick a bunch last month, so I wasn't there as much. But yeah, the last thing I was hearing from people was that like that's the thing, right? Like new home sales were good, then they were kind of steady, and now all of a sudden dump. That's fascinating. I don't really think about that. All right. I think we could easily, so on NASDAQ, on the futures, right? We could easily reject down to, where is this? 21.56, excuse me. 21.560, 21.530. And now Russell, I see also is starting to, whew. London power. I don't know if London has a power hour even, but interesting. One NASDAQ. MU has a breakup play. All right. Do I have an MU chart up on here? I don't know. I'll watch here. Yeah, I see it. Okay, that's cool. I mean, there we go. Wait a minute. Challenges. Well, it just popped up over the previous high. Problem is, it just filled this gap, right? So here's the core gap fill. That's actually right where it's been, and then there's this wick. It kind of maybe up to here, which is also the bodies on here. I mean, it could. This is still also this event here, right? So this was just, I mean, it's probably a 161 extension of the downside, right? So, I mean, I could see it getting up to like here, but I don't know. I wouldn't expect that to hold. I mean, this is over a longer time frame, though. I could easily see intraday. I could see a push intraday. Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. I more wonder about selling this pop. Like, honestly, that looks like a little exhaustion pop top. Now, keep in mind, I think we could be more bullish over time. I don't know. I don't see that energy today. I think we're still digesting a lot of the news. I think that's what it is. Then again, I think all the bad news has come in other than core PCE, right? And core PCE, if I remember correctly from that Forex Factory, core PCE, I'll just pull it down here. So that's tomorrow. CPI is released about 10 days earlier. So I don't know if this, I looked this up before. I don't know if this just comes from the CPI data. So the answer is already known, but they do have a surprise from time to time. So I would imagine the forecasts do get updated here. So. Okay, what was I looking at? Oh, so let's do this. This is one thing that's good to do. And is I'll just bring up. So you can do this on Twitter, right? Is you can have lists of people that you, and of course this is some JavaScript thing that doesn't work quite as it should because they got too clever. Web designers, too clever for their own good. My window manager's acting up. Stop it. Stop it. All right, well, you know what I'll do? Here we go. All right. Come on. Oh my goodness. Do it this way. One thing Windows can't do is manage Windows. It's insane. I don't even want to know why like terminal windows are popping up left and right here. It's scary. Okay, here we go. Let's see if I can drag this list over into this window and use it or not. I cannot. Okay. Well, that's fine. I'll just go to Twitter. We'll just, I don't know what's on my feed. Do you? We had that helicopter crash too. That could be a thing. So what you can do is you can have these lists, and I encourage everyone to do this, right? Stock twits, you get even more spam on it, but you also do get, sometimes that's a good place to look if you're just looking for insight on a move. I use stock twits a lot to get just a quick sanity check on some of, especially with the biofarm stuff. Sometimes you'll get a domain expert commenting on why a particular move is not actually significant, for example. Anyway, so if I go here on, if I have a list of people that I've seen be good analysts, so to speak, right? Then this guy, like, problem is he's going to go work for a fund, so we're going to lose his insights. But yeah, so this is a good point, right? The ETF weightings too heavily scaled towards NVIDIA, Microsoft; those two are dragging us lower. And of course, yeah, the tariff action. I maintained that was the original thing that besides just DeepSeek, right? I think that once we had once we had that initial little tiff with Colombia, once the U.S. had the tiff with Colombia, and Trump immediately slapped on the tariffs, that showed that it wasn't just rhetoric. That showed that, like, okay, tariffs are a real possibility, right? Trade wars are a real possibility. And so at that point, I think the market started pricing in maybe a little bit more realistically that risk there. But yeah, this too, right? Like, so if you're not familiar with a concept called reflexivity, definitely look it up. That comes from the famous, infamous George Soros. So he talks, and he used this, right? He shorted the pound, right? And that's sort of you can get a movement and become self-sustaining, right? Like it's basically when a market move starts pulling in itself, and that people react to the movement and then do other things. And so you have market moves triggered by the market move, right? Sort of self-referential. But yeah, so in this case, right, if we have NVIDIA and Microsoft dragging the market down, dragging these indices down, right, because they're so heavily weighted. And in fact, that's a thing we can do here, right? Like, let's look at, oh my goodness, I didn't have the tweet up. There was the tweet. Let's just real quick, we'll just look and see if there's any other good insights to take. But yeah, so if there's people that you find that you like, if you follow a bunch of people, especially if you don't just use Twitter for your trading stuff, but you use it for just in general, then go ahead and make lists. And you can even have different lists. There's communities you can join to, different things. But if you subscribe to people who have good insights on this, like there's a lot of guys also who aren't necessarily talking about stocks. Sometimes they are. There's also people who I follow and I put on these lists who have good insight into different industries, right? And so you can very quickly do this and you can scan through it and you'll get insights from, I'm convinced we don't go lower. Well, maybe. We'll see. Yeah, how is Tesla not gonna, yeah. That's the thing, right? See, hedging, so that's good. All right, this is just people bragging on their gains. Let's see if there's good. Huh. I don't discount gut feelings from people who have good insights, right? We just ramped every mega and spies untouched, QQQ untouched with the delay. Yeah. So this is the same thing, right? The indices are so, you can have movement, and we need a heat map too. So let's see if Shirley has that. If not, I'll look for a different one here. Okay, there. Can I get a heat map? Heat. Oh, and somebody was asking about screeners, right? So here's one, like even on here, right? I can do equity screener. So you can just bring in screeners from whatever tools. I have TradingView up. You can use TradingViews as well. I use Moomoo's, Mon-Thu actually has some really nice discovery. And there we go. There's a drop. down. So yeah, right. So you can add these filters. So Pari was showing his this morning. I was trying to see if he could show up on the show, but he was sharing basically, he's got I think he actually shared it in our Discord maybe, but we're kind of going through it in the roundtable very briefly because I got in there right before I had to go on. But yeah, so you can just go here. Any of these, you can do filters, right? So say I want to, and I have not used this screener before, right? Full disclosure. So I can say, okay, let's see, right? So I can say like the relative volume. No. And check out the Trade the Pool Partner trade ideas. There's a lot of great stuff for that. If you haven't done that yet, definitely do check it out. But so if I go to, let's do this volume, and I'll just do this as a good, this is the Trade the Pool volume requirement, and it also just screens out weird little moves. Market cap, let's actually make this smaller. It needs to be 1 billion. this update. And then I add a. So now let's see, 52-week high, ask price. Yeah, so this is more just a long-term screening rather than scanning for specific moves. But I was going to see if that had relative volume or anything like that, but it doesn't. Let's see if I can do alerts. Search for a ticker. Okay, yeah, so that's something different. But you know, you just do these conditions, right? And there's some videos. Michael has a video on doing it. This time I'll do it from why not from trading. So I'll just go here. And so it's actually even easier on TradingView in a sense, because I can just, there's these presets, right? So I can just do extended hours, and then it brings up these columns for the pre-market. So this is say that it's, you know, so I can look for things. What happened this morning, right? What was the pre-market gap? Let me show me pre-market gaps of more than 1%, right? Boom. And then let's see. Oops. With volume. So let's see. So the trade the pool requirement for it to be tradable is actually only that it be 20K in the pre-market. Now we're in the main thing though, but even otherwise, I would actually want to say, let's do 200K anyway. Again, just to filter out like things I don't care about. All right, so now we're starting to see, okay, so Comcast, right, had a gap up, and it looks like I can't do by the absolute value, which is kind of annoying. That'd be nice to do. There are only 3 here, or is this being a monster? All right, so Comcast, right? So let's see what happened with Comcast. Actually, I want that in my other. Oh my goodness. I swear I do this all the time. I don't know why I'm off this morning. And that's another lesson also. Don't feel compelled to trade with size or even trade at all. If you're off your game, it doesn't matter why, right? You don't need to have an explanation before you say, okay, like I don't know what's going on, but whatever. Anyway. So we found Comcast in that, right? So now let's see what happens if this can go away. Let's go here. Comcast, was it CM? That's weird. CMCSA, okay. Class A shares? That's interesting. The 5-letter ticker. Huh. Bring up the description. Okay, and that's interesting. So it had a pre-market. The pre-market gap. So it gapped up by 2% and then dropped by 8%. That's brutal. And now look at this selling. What were their results? What did they post? Like, oh my goodness. And you know what? How's Disney doing? Now it's getting interesting, right? Like, what's going on in Disney? Okay. So this is cool, right? Here's a thing you could do, right? Here's a trade. You could do long. Let me do a 5 minute just to make sure I'm. Oh, these are 1 minutes both, yeah. So you could do short Comcast, long Disney, right? And you could do what you would do is you would get your position sizes, right? And that's where I have the. That's where I have on here. I have the position exposure column there, and I'll actually have it even grouped by size, right? So I right click, I go group by side, not size. I group by side, and what that tells me is how much exposure do I have to the long and short side, so I can keep that relatively balanced. Or I could keep it like, a third, right? I could have my short exposure about a third of my long exposure if I'm just doing in general and I have a general bullish bias, right? But another thing you could do is go by the individual names, right? So you could have, you could take, let's see, let's break out a calculator. So it's 33 to 115. So if I wanted to go long Disney and short that, so it's already about a quarter times that. So I'd actually want to have, let's see, 33 times, let's see. So say I did 150 shares short Comcast, right? In fact, I'm going to actually do it 450. I'm 33. So that's a position size of roughly 15K, right? And then what I could do is hedge that with long Disney, right? So if I want to do that, 850 divided by 114. So I could short 450 shares of, 130. Okay, cool. So I could short 450 shares. Wait, that's, excuse me. So I would take the previous size, right? So I take that 15K divided by 3. Then I would divide that by 114. It tells me about 43, right? So what I could do is I could go long 450 shares of Comcast, and I could short, say, 50 shares of Disney. Excuse me. I could short 450 shares of Comcast and long 50 shares of Disney. And then the thing is, it doesn't actually matter if Disney goes down, right? I'm not necessarily looking for it to be correct on that trade. What I'm looking for is the ratio. And in this case, right, you can do a complete pair trade. You can do it symmetrical, or you can do it in a ratio like that. And in that case, I'm saying, okay, primarily I'm interested in this Comcast short, but just in case like streaming and whatever pops, what I'll do then is I will, I'll get a little bit on this Disney pop, right? So it might well be that both actually drop, but because my Disney size is only a third of my Comcast size, not in the number of shares, but in the actual exposure, right? Then I am much better off there. And if you want to be smart, what you'd actually do is look at the share price relative to the market cap as well, right? You'd weight it that way. And that's the smarter way to do that. So I'm actually curious, sort of automated tool wise, there is in that regard. So that's a bigger conversation. So we would actually do, let's see. Depends on if the percentage moves are roughly in line. But yeah, so what you would, yeah, the capital exposure would get you roughly the same exposure, but if you'd want to weight that by market cap, I think. Play around with that. Next time I'm on, I'll share some more. Again, my brain is half working this morning, so we'll go from there. The MU can be a fake breakout, no volume yet. Oh, what do we got? Yeah, I mean the volume is coming off as it gets to this consolidating range. I think I wouldn't necessarily feel bad trying a long on there because you could have a stop relatively close to that. But that might be one. This might be one where I'd have stops to enter, right? And as it pushes up, I would enter, and I'd get more and more size. Do that. All right. Let's see what anyone else is calling. Let's see what we've got from our. What was dipstick trading here? Oh, Ultra Pro QQQ. TQQQ. Yeah. All right. Interesting. Yeah, let's check that on Boeing, right? We had some Boeing. Okay. Badger Dow. That's amazing. What even is Badger? You know, I'll use Badger money in the future. That'll be great. All right. So Uber. So somebody calling out Uber. What's going on here? All right. That looks a little more interesting to me. In declining volume, but again in that consolidating range. Here's this trend line. We got a couple different competing trend lines. That's interesting. I'll see what Lyft is doing. Oh, and this reminds me of what we were going to do a little bit ago. We were going to look at, yeah, again. So a thing you could do here, you could long Uber, short Lyft, or vice versa, right? No matter which one. And give me a second. I'm gonna. Now, I don't know. I feel like this NASDAQ short is confirmed, though. I really do. Maybe not, but never know. All right, so let's go ahead and, all right, good. I do have the right chart showing. So let's clear a little bit of this out. And let's look at SPY versus right. So these are both trading. I believe these are the same thing. Just sized, priced differently. And then let's look at RSP. This is equal weighted, right? Oops. Is there a divergence here? And lo and behold, there is, right? So yeah, it's these larger names dragging things down, but that has an effect, right? People look at the indices selling, they're like, oh no, sell, 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 right? And that does put a drag even on those things that aren't actually dropping, but a drag shows up on them. So reflexivity. So that can create some buying opportunities, right? But you don't know if those headwinds are, are actually larger macro headwind, right? Like rates, right? Home sales, right? So we saw, interest rates. Okay, those are pausing, right? At the same time, new home sales are coming off. Not a great combo. Depending on your perspective, obviously. Tesla raising prices in Canada. All right. So let's see what we've got. Looking over here in our chatter here. All right. Put our ear to the ground. And I'm going to go see what's up in... Oh, yeah, let's check in on CryptoLand. I heard a Dogecoin ETF is going to get listed soon. That'll be amazing. I can't wait to have Dogecoin ETF on Trade the Pool. It's nuts. I mean, it's a brave new world for... like, regardless of your view on how it should be, it's a new regime in every sense of the word. All right, so let's look at... Yeah, here we go. See, now this is just pushing up, right? Crypto is just pushing. Got the same chart, right? Gold's pushing. Okay, gold's pushing, crypto's pushing. Oil flagging here. Now we've got Russell again pushing. All right, let me close this down. Look at this, though. Weak volume on this push. Very weak volume. Except gold. Man, I wish I were in gold today. Look at that. Look at that. And of course, again, if you want to trade gold on Trade the Pool, what you can do is BLD, which is gold shares. Now, there's also, a lot of people get this confused, right? There's GOLD, but this is Barrick Gold, and they are a gold miner. So they'll often move with the price of gold, but you can see it's not the same thing at all, right? It's similar, but this is generally going to have, it's more, I believe it's going to be more forward looking because you're pricing in the demand of gold. You're also incorporating the extraction costs and all that kind of stuff. So you're what is the demand for gold going to be, right? And so don't forget, right? It's a inflation hedge. It's a volatility hedge. It's also industrial, right? It's industrial uses. So if, just like oil, if we have less economic activity, somewhat less demand for gold. So that can happen. All right. So yeah, it is kind of a quiet day though. I mean, this is tradable. Nothing's like whipping back and forth too quickly, but it's just also hard to get a great read on anything. So I mean, gold could keep going. That's nuts, right? Like, that's actually nuts how this hockey stick thing on gold is playing out. Like, look at this. All right. So anyway, yeah, it's kind of it's not really like a quiet day. Oh, look at this. I've got somebody growing out of my head there. Yeah, that's how you know it's a weird morning day. I'm like goofing around with the, the camera on. Oh, yeah, chat's kind of died off. I don't know, guys. Anyway, yeah, we're at the 10-minute mark. We're at the 8-minute mark. So yeah, whoever's left on this kind of weird morning, it's been a weird month, right, folks? Like we had just again that whole regime change, right? We had and then we had the inauguration, we had the funeral, we had obviously the holidays, we had Thanksgiving, Christmas, then New Year's, and on top of it, we had the Carter funeral, so we had an extra market closure. We had the inauguration. That wasn't like an extra holiday, it was Martin Luther King Day, but I think that turned what's normally not as big of a impact holiday, because not as many people are traveling for it, right? Into a much bigger one. So yeah, it's just been a very strange month. It's been a strange like on a rolling basis quarter, right? It's been a strange 3 months. So I do think things are really picking up. We're getting into the year, we're really sinking our teeth in, but it's just, I don't know, this morning is just a weird kind of feeling. I'm gonna realign my head, I think. Nah, too much. There we go. Anyway, yeah, but yeah, by the way, you can follow me on Twitter as vsync. I'm on TradingView as what am I on TradingView as? TradingView is vsync 60, Discord vsync 60 hertz, you know, pretty much vsync everywhere. It comes from my game programming days. Yeah. Oh, you know what else we can look at? We can look at current. We should have looked at currencies. We should have looked at the euro. Something we can do. But yeah, if anyone has anything you want to look at or comment on or ask about before we wrap up for the day, please go ahead and throw it out there. I don't really have anything going on other than oh man, that gold long is actually printing still, like buying the top. I don't know if that means I should be scared, right? Should I be scared? Like, why is buying the top on gold working, right? Why is shorting the hole on NASDAQ working? I don't know. But small sizes not doing much of anything here, because I don't really have a read on things, so I'm going to be cautious. But yeah, what do you guys have? And in the meantime, before we wrap up, let's take a look here. We should look at currencies here. So we've got the yen. Yen is interesting because it's kind of a safe haven sort of thing. And we've got a few people on our Discord as well. We have a lot of people coming over from Forex, so that's a great thing to be aware of. I mean, currency moves are so big. I mean, you see the impacts that the Federal Reserve, the FOMC meetings have on just the broader markets, right? So a lot of people are like, oh, I don't trade Forex, right? Well, you should know about it, right? You know, a lot of people, oh, I only trade small caps, right? Well, you want to know the macroeconomic climate, right? What is the federal funds range, right? The rate range, because that impacts lending, that affects ability to raise capital, you know? So I'm a big believer that it's always worth your while to learn a little more. So let's look at EUR USD. I guess it's quoted the other way. USD EUR. There we go. And so yeah, so the European Central Bank just cut their interest rate again, right? So now we see. Right, oh wow! Now the equal weight one is really, guys. I don't know what the, oh wow, and the short hedges, the Russell long hedges are now out. So yeah, let's go ahead and pull up. 9 a.m. Everything kind of rebounded a little bit. Looks. Again, look at this. It's trying to reclaim that support line. It's rough, but yeah. And one thing also that I want to learn, if anyone has any good resources on this, I'd love it if you can link them. But the impact on tariffs on currency strength, right? Like, does putting tariffs on imports to the U.S. make the USD stronger? I'm guessing so, because it makes it a little harder to get a hold of dollars. But I don't know if that's true. So if anyone has resources, let me know. But yeah, we're wrapping up here. I'll give it another minute, see if anyone wants to call out any more tickers. Otherwise, I'm going to just go ahead and switch it over to this kind of overview type situation. And we'll wrap it up there. Okay. Is gold rejecting? We will see. Somehow I don't think so, though. Somehow I think it's just taking a breather. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and call it there. I'd say what an interesting morning. It's sort of in terms of how uninteresting. Let me check in on my. I will check in on a couple things. We'll go ahead and check in on. Where's my quote monitor? Retailers. I want to check in on Target and on all right. I'm not sure if this is prime time yet. It's still so Target. We're still up 0.5%. Robinhood shouldn't be in. This might be. This is the wrong list. These lists aren't correct. I think it forgot that they got reordered, I think is what happened. There we go. This is the retail list. Dollar Tree. So yeah, sad to say, folks, a few little glitches still in the old Shkreli terminal. Here we go. Starting to get that selling on Target. What did it say? Oh, look at this wick. 134. My experience, those things don't lie. It takes a long time, but often you'll end up, because this might be a pool trade. This might be just where the spread opened, but somebody sold down there. I mean, no volume on it. Could be just a bozo doing a market sell, but I don't know. That's very interesting. I still like Dollar Tree, but relative to the sector, I think. All right. Well, really, we're gonna wrap up with some spam. We're not gonna have this. It's none of that. Apparently, I can't delete the comment. Annoying. Anyway, all right, folks, we're going to go ahead and wrap up there. Thanks, as always, for tuning in. Remember, trade the pool, a great way to get in on these moves. You can get outside returns without risking your own capital. And that's something that's great. So take a look at that. You can get a free trial for 14 days. And we do always encourage to do that. So you can get a feel for the interface, come on the Discord, ask questions about it. We've got a series of tutorial videos. You can read the manual. You can come to our group trading events. So Tuesday mornings, we're in the pre-market taking a look at things. And then every other Friday afternoon, we're in there. Sometimes people come in earlier, right? Special days. We had a trading session. We were watching the FOMC press conference together and trading it. That was a lot of fun. And, just people are always posting their trades throughout the day. in the trade chatter. We also have ongoing discussions specifically about platform features, program rules, and everything. So go ahead, get that free trial. Take the time to get yourself familiar with it, and then maybe take a look at a mini or a super and dip your toe in, and then you really have the opportunity. If you can manage that account well, you can get in on these moves and not tie up your own capital, not risk your own capital. Don't forget, this afternoon, let's see, lunchtime, 12:45, we'll be doing a little TA session on the Discord together. And 4:30 tonight, Captain Stonkso, we will be doing our funded trader focus, picking up with another one of those. It's been a little while, but can't wait to see everyone there. It's going to be a great discussion. As always, have a great day, stay safe, and stock and roll.